High school teacher, 21, abused as child wears diapers in bid to escape horrors of his youth. A high school teacher who endured abuse as a child that left him emotionally scarred now lives part of his life as a 3-year-old to escape his turbulent past. Assistant biology high school teacher Dillian Blake, 21, from Ohio, was just 5 years old when he first experienced physical and emotional abuse at the hands of a family member's partner. The abuse continued until he was 13 years old when they moved across the country, leaving him behind. The torment he went through made him feel like he had lost his childhood. He began to regress like a child in his behavior, which caused him to shy away in public. He didn't feel comfortable about revealing his struggles until he discovered a website called Experience Projects in 2009. The website helped him build up a large following, and he began to connect to other people who have experienced similar ordeals. This became a source. The shutting down of this website led to him stumbling upon the Adult Baby Diaper Lovers ABDL community in October 2014. It became his hobby to dress up as children between the ages of 3 and 7. It became like despite graduating from high school and now studying at a university whilst also working as a teaching assistant, he still dresses up as a child in his spare time, sometimes even in public. Wearing nappies, and he says he has spent over £2,000 $1,590 on his ABDL outfits and accessories. My birth mother had a boyfriend, who I thought was someone to look up to and aspire to be, but in reality, he wasn't, Dillian said. He would drink alcohol, and every night he would come into my room and wake me up by punching me or hitting me in the head. During the day he would pin me down or start fighting me to man. This would last up until I was in secondary school, when they both left to move across the country without ever thinking about her kids. I wouldn't say anything to anyone until I was way older, about the start of middle school for me, which was about 2009. That's when I discovered a website called Experience Projects, which is sadly no longer up. But my years on that, I went on to find a new home. A place called even though I was still underage at that time. I wanted to find it lets me forget about the problems that come about in life, if I am able to go into little space for an hour or two. Then I can come back. The Adult Baby Diaper Lover community, or also known as the ABDL community, is just adults who find comfort in wear nappies and adult-size baby clothes and baby toys. Each person has their own reason of why they got into it. I sometimes do, but my big role is I don't want to force. Dillian explains that while there is a large community that understand his hobbies, there are also trolls who accuse them of being pedophiles, which is a myth he would like to dispel. But while his hobby has at times negatively affected his dating life, he will not give it up. If I am by myself, I don't get to really role play. I just put on if I am with friends, with some I role play as more of a big brother. Where they are more of the, I think the most common reaction is someone asking me if that's a diaper I have under my shorts, and I mean I won't lie. I tell them yes. If they ask why, I tell them I have to wear them, and they usually move on. But I won't ever go. A common misconception of our community is that we are pedophiles, which isn't true. We find comfort and therapy in wearing diapers and baby stuff while able to regress back to younger ages without fear. What we do falls under the regression therapy, which psychologists use to help with anxiety, all the way to more complex mental health problems such as post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) by using physical and mental grounding methods. It controls a lot of who I date. I've learned to filter. I always try to push the boundaries, so when they find out about my hobby, they won't drop off the face of the earth. So, I haven't had to deal with a lot of problems with being in this community, besides when someone who you didn't want to find out, finds out about your alter ego. You have to work those problems out like it's a game of chess. Knowing who you want. My family doesn't know about my hobby completely. They know I have some of my friends know, and they don't care truly, because they love me for who I am, and that this made me who I am. They might not understand. I wear nappies out and about every day. Mostly when my advice is to take a chance and ask questions. Everyone has their Boris and Carrie are still loved up, and have been brought even closer together following police. From the first flush of love to Rose with his girlfriend, after browsing 2-for-1 wine offers in. Woman who was thrown in jail, aged 19 for stealing from post office, is among hundreds who are suing. Pictured Gretna Green bride, 30, found dead at house as 28-year-old man is arrested on suspicion of. Disabled grandfather is sacked by ASDA after colleague complained about him sharing an. Tony Blair leads well-wishers as former Deputy PM Lord Prescott, 81, suffers stroke and is admitted. Did Susie Lamb plug fake her appointment with Mr. Kipper? Ex-detective believes anarchist mob demonstrate outside Boris and Carrie's London flat wielding Boris posters after. Britain could join Trump in a war on Iran, says Jeremy Hunt as tensions rise after Tehran missile. The Obamas join the Clooneys aboard a boat on Lake Como as the former first family attend a. American missionary, 35, working in Uganda is sued by African mothers who claim she has cost more. I watched 2 minutes, the worst 2 minutes of my life. Viewers blast tone deaf, dire tonight. Police hit back against the moped menace. Incredible moment. Officers ram suspect off his bike after. Sausage factory worker is killed after being sucked headfirst into a meat mixing machine. Andorra. More than half of MPs claim free BBC license at taxpayers' expense, even though 3/7 pensioners. The sleep revolution. It's time to stop.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.